All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Zach Kracht, who is a photographer, business owner, and creative problem solver. Zach, how you doing?
Good, Tim. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Thanks for asking, and thanks for coming on the show.
Certainly.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I'm Zach Kracht. I live in Austin, Texas, and I run two businesses. I run a commercial photography business and an event photography business. My event photography business covers the largest youth sporting events nationwide, from soccer, football, baseball, and lacrosse. So I spend most of my weekends traveling to these locations, managing my teams, and optimizing our internal software. For fun, I love hiking with my dog. I love cooking, rock climbing, and just overall traveling. I have a trip coming up going to Montana to snowboard. So that's the next big trip I'm super psyched about.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us a bit more about your motivation behind the business and just what gets you up and keeps you going every day.
Yeah, I mean, curiosity for one. I just knowing that there's more out there. Putting myself in an environment that is like, doing these awesome, amazing things is normal. With my group of friends and community and peers, it's like, oh, you scaled your business this big, and you're able to, have that time freedom and travel and explore, a foreign city, or try this food at your restaurant. Just like having those possibilities, it keeps me motivated to do what I do every day. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And so, have you always been like this, or was there a moment where you made the shift in life?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always have said I'm not average. I'm above average, and I don't want to ever be average. So, um, but no, I would say there was a shift, recently, in the past few years, like maybe since I was like 21 or 22. Had some life changes, and life is short, and realized it's like, okay, like, why am I not pushing for the most possible? And the past year or so, I've pretty much gone above and beyond that. I hired a performance coach, and I saw what joined an amazing group of peers and saw what they were doing, and I was like, oh wow, like I could be doing that. Like, there's no reason why I can't do what they're doing. There's normal people that have done amazing things. So it has really motivated me, just surrounding myself with people in that group and seeing, like, it's normal to do those amazing things. So I was like, I'm gonna be part of that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that. Well, let's jump into your dreams and goals, man. Tell us a little bit about goals, vision for your life, both in your business and just in life in general.
Yeah. So let's start with life. I have a goal of being just owning multiple businesses, and using my creative problem solving to help those businesses and grow them. So I've dibbled and dabbled in lots of different business ideas, failed a bunch, but I just really love creative problem solving. So if there's a problem out there, I'm like, oh, like, how does this work? How can I, is it profitable to, have a solution? How can we cut costs? How can we improve customer experience? And lots of different things like that. So like creative problem solving, is part of my, vision for my life, is always having like projects that will enable me to, work with that. I have a dream right now of owning a farm, actually. So um, I'm not sure what kind of farm. It could be an apple farm. It could be a cattle ranch. Not really sure, but, I'm thinking, 10, 15 years right now, you probably see me part-time on a farm somewhere. Just having the ability to reconnect with nature and grow my own food, is, it'd be pretty big for me. So I'm excited about that. Family is, big for me. My brothers, my kid, my future kids. That's, all motivation, to, keep the vision clear and, know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Tell us more about the farm dream. Like, when did that come about? How long have you wanted to do it, etc.?
Yeah. That's a good question. Farming's a really hard business, from my understanding, to, make a living out of it. And I don't want to make a living out of it at all. For me, it's more so, like the lifestyle of it. Connecting with nature, having food as close to home as possible. I want to always be able to provide for my family. The way I see it is like, the bare essential things: food, water, and shelter. And I believe, living in a farm environment, you're able to cover, all of those things, and live simply. So I think having that option, having a farm, and, even if that means having other families live on that farm and help operate it, I mean, that's fine with me. I think it'd be a very community-based farm. And I mean, I probably had this vision for maybe about 2 or 3 years now. I had a buddy who, bought like a small ranch land outside of Austin, had like 4 or 5 cows, a couple of chickens, and like I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. Like, you're self-sustaining. You harvest your cows twice, once a year. You get 2 cows and sell the rest, and that's enough meat for the whole year for your family. So it was just like really cool to see that, like, just that whole process, and like there's another, ways of life that I'm not used to.
Yeah, dude, 2 cows is enough to feed a whole family.
I mean, that's what he told me. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure for each cow it's 500 pounds of meat. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So it's like 1,000 pounds of meat. So if you ate 1 pound of meat a day, like 2 adults, that's 600, 700, 20 something pounds of meat. And then he had 2 little kids. So, I mean, they don't eat as much meat. So pretty much like, yeah, it was like approximately 2 cows was feeding himself, his partner, and to a toddler and a baby for the year.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, you kind of make me want to have a farm.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think, for me, it's like important to reconnect with nature, and having my children as well. I grew up in the outdoors, doing all kinds of outdoors activities, from camping, hiking, shooting guns. Yeah, and just learning about animals, how we live together with them.
I love that. I love that. So we got multiple businesses, owning a farm, and family being a huge deal for you. So is that like you want your brothers and everybody in your immediate family to kind of be close in proximity to you and your farm?
They could be. I want it to be a safe space. So, when shit hits the fan, if it ever does, like, they go to the farm, wait it out. We got food, we got water, we got shelter, got protection. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome just to have that space. For my family when alive, and when I'm gone, whenever that is, my children can have that space. It's really just like, I imagine it to be like somewhere kind of in the mountains. And they got, little cabin, and yeah, just an awesome place to just be and be at peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, what really caused you to take the first step towards really getting your life on track to where it is now? I know you talked about you were kind of always like this, but something happened 4 or 5 years ago. Tell us about that and the journey.
Yeah, my son was born when I was 21, so that was a big motivator, to like, oh crap, I gotta get my life together. No longer a college kid. So yeah, that's kind of, a big change. It really changed my work ethic. That's for sure. And, maybe it was part of the stress of, being a father for the first time. Just, like, hey, like, I don't understand this. So I would say that was a big factor. But like really changed my work ethic. But also just like hang around the right people. Like when I first moved to Austin, I was like, started hanging out with like people and like at masterminds, and they're like doing all these amazing things. I was just like, oh, like, why am I here? Like, don't know anything. And then, fast forward a year or two later, it's like, oh, like I'm doing the same things they were doing, or 2 years ago. It's like, okay, like hang around the right people, have the right environment. It's like you'll mirror that. So, really like realizing that now, it's like, if you want to be somewhere, like hang out with those people who are already doing it, and you'll get there. It's just how it happens with your environment. Don't
Yeah,
hang out with people who are like, not going to be like, don't do that. You're going to mess up. Everyone messes up. Everyone fails. I mean, failing is just part of the process.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Well, if there are one or two people that you can meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person that would really help you take the next step towards your dreams and goals of owning multiple businesses and that farm, who would they be and how would they do it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if it's a specific person, but I think it has like the traits, someone who's really connected, who understands, multiple businesses and is kind of like open to partnerships. I think, to build anything great, you need a team behind you. So, understanding how to lead a team, manage a team, build a team, that's kind of the person who I should be connecting with more to go where I want to go is, helping me build these businesses, stabilize them, grow them. I would say, but yeah, I don't know if there's a single, right person that comes to mind. That's sort of the kind of person that I expect that's going to pop up in my life whenever I, seek them out or I am meant to meet them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, awesome, man. I love that. What is the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to help push you along to your dreams and goals?
Are you asking like helping me or just them in general?
Yeah. So if somebody hears this podcast and they're like, I resonate with Zach, I want to help him.
You want to help me? Okay. Uh, Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean exactly what I just said before. If like you're good at building teams, you know how to build teams. You want to just talk. I'm here to help too. So it's really like how can we help each other? That's how a lot of my interactions go. I'm part of several groups where we get together weekly or monthly, and we like talk what we're working on. Connect like, oh, you do this, like you should talk to so and so. So if you're a really good networker, that's probably who I'm trying to connect with. If you know people and are extrovert, I would say that.
Love it. Well, there we go. Now we're going to jump into our thriving three. So, our first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one. You could also talk about the book that you've gifted the most.
So I started this book this week. I'm not done it. Can I talk about that?
Go for it.
Okay. So it's the book called, I think it's called Intimate Communion. And it's about relationships. So I started this book 5 days ago. I'm halfway through, so I'm not done it yet. So I can't be like, hey, it's the best book ever. But from the 100 and something pages I've read so far, it has changed my life. It just goes in and talks about masculine and feminine energy and how it changes our life, places we choose to live, how we react in relationships, how others act towards us, and just the psychology behind it. Um, and it's just like eye-opening. It's like, okay, wow, I understand why my partner did this or is feeling this. So it really helps everyone with communication in all kinds of relationships, friends, lovers, etc. So that was like, it's pretty much been eye-opening. So I would say that book for sure is I'm recommending to every single person I'm coming into contact um,
Yeah, man.
into my life.
I love it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the masculine and feminine energy and how it's described in the book?
Yeah, so there's masculine and feminine energy, and from my understanding is that every single person has a mixture of both. It might be 99 1% or 80 20 or 40 60, but overall usually men are more masculine and women are more feminine. But it does not always the case. It's not 100% like set in stone. It's you have to figure that out for yourself. But yeah, I mean, like for example, it talks about masculine and feminine places. So New York City is a very masculine place. It's like, very like to-do list, like grit, hustle, grind. Um, and if that's what you need in your life, you might find yourself in New York City, where you're like, okay, like I need more masculine energy in my life. Like I'm not getting the support through, like a relationship or whatever. So I need this rigidness and stability in my life. Where, on the other hand, like a place like Hawaii has more feminine energy, has gracious waves and jungles and fruit. It's very open and loving. So if you're a really masculine guy, you're like, oh, I'm moving to Hawaii because it feels relaxing and relieving. And that's kind of the understanding I have of it is it's a balance. It's always going to be a balance, and they neutralize each other. So it's pretty cool. It's like kind of a new subject for me that I'm learning myself. So that's why I'm just like super amped about it.
Hey, there we go. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. I like the neutralizing point, balance, like yin and yang type of vibes. Awesome, man. Well, what's one way you like to take care of yourself?
I like the sauna. So every morning I walk my dog, and then afterwards I sauna for about 30 minutes. And this time I do my reading, or I meditate, or a combination of the two, or just thinking. So I would say like this is probably like the number way I take care of myself is getting some sweat out, blood flowing, removing toxins, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Do your books ever get wet in the sauna?
Yes, yes, they get sweaty.
Awesome. Well, what's one action step you can take right now to get to your highest priority dream? And I guess right now that'd be the multiple businesses, maybe.
Mhm. One action step that I need to do.
Yep, that you can do or continue to do if you're already doing it.
Yeah, I mean, continue to do is showing up every day. Um, Absolutely. It's really about consistency. um, you know, and showing up when you don't want to. It's really, biggest thing. It's like, oh, I don't want to make this cold call. I don't want to fire this employee. You know, you name it. You have to do it. This is part of the, so consistency. Absolutely. Staying consistent.
Yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about consistency. One, the importance of it, which you've already kind of touched on. So maybe not that as much as how you stay consistent, and do you have systems or things in place to help you stay consistent?
Yeah. How do I stay consistent? I really think you just have to have focus. You have to really think, high level. It's like, okay, like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because, it's important to me. It's like, okay, why? Why is it important? It's like, oh, like it will bring me fulfillment through creative problem solving, or like, why does it do that? It's like, okay, you're able to solve problems and help people interact with people. And just get like to the bottom of that. Like, keep asking why until you kind of get there. But yeah, it's like, consistency is really important in like, anything you do, like fitness, diet, business, relationships. You need if you want to get something, you have to show up every single day, no matter, how you're feeling. If you're sick, you're tired of it, you had your, you know, thousandth cold call and they said no again, just get used to it. It's just important to make it happen. So, if you don't make it happen, someone else will make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like that focus. And I've also heard, really wealthier people talking about how once you're wealthy, it gets boring as hell because you're just kind of repeating the same system and process that you really got down that built your wealth, and that's how you're multiplying it. And
What's you get hobbies for, or new businesses that fail, and it's part of the process. It's fun.
exactly. Yeah, I love it. Well, awesome, man. I have one more question for you, and it requires a bit of pretext.
Okay.
So, you know how there are people on the planet that have a fixed mindset, aren't willing to accept help, aren't willing to accept change. Sometimes they go through their whole life and they die like that. Other times they change to a growth mindset, willing to accept help, willing to accept change. In your opinion, what is the catalyst that causes that change?
Yeah, it's really tough. I've experienced this in my life with people. It's really up to that person's. At the end of the day, it's gonna be that person's choice of what they want to do. Um, my best recommendation would be, from my understanding, like, we think 90% subconsciously. So if you could get them subconsciously thinking that there's something out there that's more than what they're experiencing now, or know that there's possibilities than what they're experiencing now, and that the future is not the past is not an indicator of the future. Um, I would say that.
Dude, I love that. You got any tips or tricks for those people who are like, I want to subconsciously influence my friends and colleagues and family?
Just hypnotize them, man. I don't know. I mean, the mindset is, it can be around anything. It could be on business or family or whatever it is. Lots of different things, but typically they're all connected. So if you're doing well in business, like doing well in your family, you might be doing well in your health too. It's just kind of they all connected. Um, you know, People fall into tough situations, and they just get battered and beaten down again and again and again in every aspect of their life. You know, get the small wins and savor them. Would be maybe a suggestion.
I love that.
100 small wins. You know, kind of beats. It's like stacking win after win after win. That's a consistency thing too. It's like every day it's a small win. Every day I do one push up, then next day I do two push ups or whatever it is. Stacking those wins and letting that be your momentum. Whereas if you like one day you try to run 6 miles and then you're dead for the next 4 days. It's like, okay, that's not consistent. Why do go for a 20-minute walk for a week and then 30-minute walk and then do a jog and, build a consistency is, I think part of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Another book I really love on consistency, The Compound Effect.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Compound.
Man, such a great book.
I haven't read that, but I'm going to put it on my list.
Oh yeah, man. You just kind of talked about all the principles, but it'll still be a good read for you. Darren Hardy talks about crazy stories. Like he had this girl who was like, she was overweight and she was trying to lose weight for her wedding, I think. And he told her, just jog for as far as you can until it gets tiring. Actually, he might have started her with walking a mile and then jogging as far of that mile as she can until it gets tiring, then walking the rest. Now she like runs marathons. Just epic. So
yeah, I mean, like, you'll see things on social media where it's like, this guy, was paralyzed, and then like 2 years later he'll climb like a mountain or run a marathon or something like that. It's like it's mindset has so much to do with it. It's amazing what if you think it, you can think it into reality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, always happy to talk or bounce ideas off of. Happy to help any way I can.
Sounds good. Well, if you guys are listening to this and you loved what Zach had to say, make sure to reach out to him, connect with him, start building that network. If you happen to know that super connector that knows business, knows what they're talking about, and wants to partner, make sure you connect Zach to them as well. Also, any tips on the farm, Zach and I would both appreciate that. Awesome. Zach, thank you for coming on the show. As we always ask, we want you guys to send this to 1 to 2 people need to hear this message. Shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.